who have broken with the status quo in seeking to fight against anti-black racism. So, you know, I mean, the books are different, but at least in that respect, they have a similar taproot. Yes?
All right. I wanted to ask the same question that was asked earlier, but you've answered that. So, basically. But my question really... All right, you've got this title, Good White People. And I think that there's a class of books, of ideas like this, in which modern history basically feels guilty about what's happened over the course of all of history. For example, I was in an art history class last term, and in that class we were studying the influential artists of basically the last 500 years. And in the 1800s and the 1700s, we took a particular group of artists and we studied, you know, Picasso and Goya, but we also studied influential female artists who we hadn't heard of and who weren't really that influential because we wanted to draw attention to the fact that there were female artists, even though they never became influential. So I think if you signal out a group like this, the good white people group, and don't just say good people, you have to address the philosophy of why people like Andrew Jackson or people like Thomas Jefferson are the people who are in charge and who are the people who appeal to the majority, and they aren't people who are egalitarian or good in the sense of wanting to appeal to many people. Otherwise, we're just studying people because we feel guilty about the atrocities of the past. You know, we're approaching people like if you, I've also read books or seen books called like female people who reached out, you know, tried to transcend their race, their sex in order to do things. But they're not people who we hear about every day, and you've got to address why that is, I think. Or it's just a group of people who have never, we study, and who don't actually influence most things.
Yeah, I'm not altogether sure that I get your drift.
Okay.
I mean, one thing that I will do, I mean, I think the one thing that is important is to address the historical reputation of people. So, for instance, this is William A. Dunning. William A. Dunning, one of the leading political scientists, one of the leading historians of the early 20th century. This is how he talks of, this is his description of Thaddeus Stevens. Truculent, vindictive, and cynical. Or James G. Randall, one of the great Lincoln scholars, one of the great Lincoln scholars, said of Thaddeus Stevens, the perfect type of vindictive ugliness.